Hi, welcome to yoga today. We've got just a really nice, gentle little practice for you. You'll have to work a little bit at the beginning, but it'll be worth it, and we will barely get up off the floor. So make it more challenging if you want. There are still the poses in there that you can make that happen. Enjoy the laying on the floor otherwise. Let's come to a comfortable seat, taking inner thigh rotation here. Sitting up nice and tall. Remember to lift the pelvic floor, pull the lower belly in and up, and engage along the sides of the body so that the spine is long and even. Relax into your hips and shoulders as much as you can. And we'll begin to observe the breath here. Noticing without changing at first. And then gradually deepening each breath until you come to a nice, full yoga breath. Staying connected to the breath, extend the arms out to the sides, and with your inhale, lift all the way up, and exhale to bring it back down again. We'll do that again. And then once more. Inhaling as we come back up to the top. Exhale just the right hand back to the mat and give yourself a little tip over to that right side. Stay even on your pelvis, nice and tall through your spine, and take a big breath here. On the next inhale, coming back up to center and then switching, taking the left hand down and tipping left. Big full breath. And inhaling to come back up to the top. Exhale the right hand back to the mat again and see about giving yourself a little deeper stretch this time. Inhale back to center. And then the last time, let's take it over to the left. Inhaling back to the middle. And exhaling both arms. We'll bring the hands to the knees here. With the next inhale, draw your shoulder blades together on your back and lift your chest up toward the ceiling. Exhaling as you round through the spine, tuck your tailbone under, drop your chin down, and then flow between those two positions, connected to the breath. And then making your way back to center again. Nice tall spine here. Let's bring the left hand to the right knee and the right hand just back behind the body. Give yourself an easy little twist over to the right. Keeping the spine tall, staying even on your pelvis. And then releasing that, take the second side, same idea, this gentle, easy twist. Coming back to the center, let's return to that first side again. Use your right arm like a second spine, pressing into the mat, and then pull against the knee with your left hand. See about rotating your belly button toward the right. Imagine turning your side ribs toward the back of your mat and drawing that shoulder back as far as it'll go. keeping the spine tall, staying even on your pelvis. Releasing that back through the center and over to the second side. Same idea, using the arms and drawing around into this deeper twist. Releasing back to the center. From here, interlace your fingers behind your back. Draw your shoulder blades toward each other, reach the knuckles for the floor, and then begin to hinge forward from the hip. The fingertips may still touch the floor or not. The hands can lift up off of your lower back, maybe even a little bit, but keep drawing the shoulder blades together on the back. Nice full breaths here. Inhaling as you hinge back up. Before you release your fingers, think about which thumb is on top back there. And then switch your feet. So put your other foot in front. Relacing the fingers behind the back with the other thumb on top. Everything else is the same. Draw your shoulder blades together, stretch your fingers away from your shoulders, and hinge forward. Notice the changes. Big full breaths. And we'll hinge back up again. Releasing the fingers, go ahead and extend the legs out long. Flex your feet. Feet hip bone distance apart. Take inner thigh rotation again here if you need to. And sitting tall, reach the arms up, hinge forward from the hips, and let yourself come into your first fold here. So just nice and gentle. The hands fall where they do. That may not be your toes. Moving with your breath a little bit here on the inhales, maybe back out of the fold a bit. With the exhales, maybe tipping back in again. Just find that gentle first stretch here. With the inhale, hinging back up again, releasing the hands back to the sides. And from here, we'll bring ourselves around onto hands and knees. Grounding the four corners of the hands into the mat, spread the fingers, engage the index knuckle. And then we're going to turn this into a kneeling plank. So the hands a handprint forward or the knees a knee print back. Find a nice long line from the crown of your head back through the knees. Shoulders neutral on the back, belly pulled in. And then bend the elbows just enough to bring them in line with the ribs and stop and hover here. Are you still that straight long line? Pressing back up, go ahead and sit back into a child's pose. Let's do that again. Slide forward, kneeling plank. Find neutral. Make sure your belly's pulled in. Bend the elbows. Squeeze them in tight to the rib cage. Hover. And then press back up again and sit back into your child's pose. Remember, if you can't hold them quite that long, don't panic. Come out early. If you want to hold them longer, hold them longer. Again here, shift forward to your kneeling plank. Find the middle. Bend your elbows tight to the sides. Hover in this middle space. This time, come on down to the belly. Take the hands next to the side ribs so the forearms are vertical. And then flowing with the breath here, on an inhale, we're going to roll the shoulders up by the ears, together on the back, down toward the hip bones, and exhale, release back down to the mat. So follow your breath in and out like that, rolling on the way up, exhaling, dropping it back down. Take a few flows like that and just open up in through your shoulders, using your upper back muscles, connected to the breath. Relaxing for a second here. And then holding this next one, roll into the shoulders. This time pull with your hands like you're gonna pull your belly button toward the top of the mat, and maybe a little bit of a press into the hands to bring yourself up a little bit higher. Listen to your body, keep the shoulders down and back. Make sure you're breathing, and then release back down again. Let's press into the knees, just enough to barely lift the pelvis up off the floor. And then push into the hands, lift the chest back into your half kneeling plank, all the way up. And then back into child's pose again. From our child's pose, we're going to make our way up and back into a down dog. Allow yourself to move and stretch here. Feet are hip bone distance apart. The four corners of the hands still nice and even into the mat. Begin to sink into your down dog, pressing through your heels, pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Take the big and second toe of your left foot and straddle the right Achilles tendon right above your heel there. See if you press a little deeper into the right heel and maybe it comes a little closer to the mat. Releasing that side, switch to the second side. So the right big and second toe, press the left heel toward the floor. Maybe it still doesn't touch. Releasing that side, back to your down dog. From here, let's step forward with the left foot, toes to fingers. We're going to drop the right knee to the floor. Let yourself just shift and wiggle a little bit into your hips here. Wake them up. And then take the left leg straight. The hands can be on the floor. They can prop up on your thigh if they need to. We want to keep the shoulders down and back so the back stays flat-ish. And then bend back into the knee and allow the hips to come forward. Keep them nice and square, pulling the legs toward each other. Let's add in a twist, bringing the left hand to the hip, rotating the belly around toward the thigh, turning your side ribs toward the ceiling, taking the shoulder back. Big full breaths here. Releasing your twist. You have the option of leaving that right knee on the floor if you prefer, or lift the right knee and take the left leg straight again. So a little bit deeper into the stretch if you're ready for that. Keeping the hips square, your spine nice and long. Remember, you can prop up if you need to prop up. And then we'll bend back into that knee again. So full lunge or knee down variation if you'd like. Sweep the legs toward each other for stability, climb up on the thigh, lifting the upper body. Relax into your shoulders, The hands can stay supporting if they need, or extend them reaching toward the ceiling. Keeping the back legs straight and strong. Nice big breaths here. Releasing that, make your way back into lunge. And we'll take the hands and walk them around into the center of a straddle fold. You can take your feet wider or more narrow if you feel like you need to. Make sure you're even on the four corners, your toes point forward, and let yourself just hang here for a moment. A little bend in the knees if you like, grabbing opposite elbow if that feels good. And then releasing that, let's go ahead and walk the hands around toward the right foot, lunging toward the back of your mat. Start with the left knee on the floor and just wiggle and shift into your hips a little bit here. When you're ready, taking the right leg straight. Remember, you can prop, keeping the back nice and long, finding your stretch. Bending into the knee, come forward. Sink those hips low. Keeping them square, adding in your twist here. Right hand to the hip, rotating around. Releasing your twist, knee down or up variation, and then take the right leg straight again when you're ready. Prop if you need to prop, adjust how you need to adjust. Bending back into the knee down variation again if you need. Climb up on the thigh, hands stay on the thigh here if you need, or the arms extend up toward the ceiling. Sinking into the hips without letting that left knee bend, unless the knee needs to be on the floor, of course. And then release, making your way back to the lunge. Take the hands back around into the center of your straddle fold. Again, adjusting your feet wider or more narrow, toes point forward. Here we'll take the index and middle fingers and wrap them around the big toes. The legs can be bent if they need to be bent. We're going to bend the elbows out to the side so the shoulders pull together on the back a little bit, keeping the spine long and neutral. And if you still need more, a little pull on the toes. And then release the toes, taking the fingers in again, interlace behind your lower back. Palms face each other, little bend in the elbows, draw the shoulder blades closer together, stretching the hands away from the shoulders. You decide how far away they move from the lower back. Nice full breaths here. And then we'll release, take the hands back to the mat. Walking them around toward your left foot again, lunge toward the top. And then step back into down dog again. Let's shift forward, coming into a plank. Belly pulled in, knees to the floor if you need. Take it to the belly. And then sliding the hands back, rolling, pulling, and pressing into your cobra here. Releasing that, make your way up and back into a down dog. And we're going to work into pigeon. So bringing the left knee up behind the left wrist, extending the right leg long behind here. The knee can stay more toward the inside of the mat or open it up to the left side of the mat a little bit. You can adjust your toes closer to your right hand if that feels good. Find where you need to be. Keeping your pelvis square to the top of the mat, you can absolutely stay up on your hands. If you'd like, drop down to your forearms, or maybe all the way down, forehead to the mat or your folded hands. Notice if you feel as if you're leaning to one side or the other, and see if you can find the middle. Remember, you can adjust your pose here, coming in a little deeper, maybe backing out a little bit if you need. Take nice big breaths. We'll gently make our way back up onto the hands. And we're going to bend the right knee. Take the right hand and catch the foot. Square up the hips. Feel that nice quad stretch? If that's enough, you don't have to add on. But if you'd like, bend your elbow, pulling the heel a little closer to the hip. Find where the stretch is for you. And then we'll release. Gently make your way back into a down dog. Let yourself wiggle and stretch a little bit here if that feels good. And let's switch sides. So bring the right knee up behind the right wrist. Keeping the heel back by the groin if that's where you need to be, or opening the knee a little bit, bringing the foot closer to the left hand. Wiggle and adjust. Keeping the pelvis square. And decide on this side. If you stay up, go down a little bit, or drop all the way down, forehead to the mat. Again, find center and listen to where your body needs to be here. Let's make our way back up onto the hands. Bend the left knee, and the left hand's going to find the foot. Keeping the hips square, bending the elbow if you want a little more. And then gently releasing, making your way back into your down dog. Dropping down to the knees, we'll bring the legs around front, extending them nice and long. Taking your inner thigh rotation again here, flexing your feet. Sitting up tall. Let's inhale the arms up and exhale ourselves over into a fold. Just like earlier, maybe the hands touch your toes and maybe they don't. Keep your spine long, extending out the crown of your head. Inhaling, come on back up again, and exhale, release the arms. Let's bring the feet flat to the floor here. Hang on to your hamstrings. Take your arms almost straight, keeping your chest lifted and your belly working. You can leave your toes on the floor if that's enough, or maybe just lift them away from the floor. The shins can be parallel or the legs can be extended straight up. Bring the soles of the feet again together. Reach down and grab for your ankles. Draw the heels toward the groin, let your knees open to the sides. And then C-curve through your spine and roll yourself down onto your back. Keep the soles of the feet together, and then let the feet come to the floor so the knees rest out to the sides. Let's bring the knees back up. And then gently draw the knees into the chest. Just give yourself a nice soft little rock, massaging the back against the mat. Keep the knees drawing in toward the chest. Take your shins vertical and reach up and grab for the soles of your feet, insides or outsides, either way. Draw the knees down in toward your chest or maybe a little bit open, and imagine drawing those knees in toward your armpits. And then allow yourself to just kind of wiggle and shift a little bit here, pulling down on one foot, sliding to that side and then the other. Back and forth. Maybe lifting your hips up away from the floor and then back down again. Just let yourself wiggle around. Finding center again, pull down evenly on the feet, see if you can draw them a little deeper, and then press back up into the hands with the feet. Don't let your legs win, they're obviously stronger. Find a middle, feeling all those muscles engage. From here, releasing the feet and just drawing the knees back in toward the chest. We'll take the feet flat to the floor. Allow the knees to open out to the sides and rest here. Bringing the knees back together. Let's open the arms back out into our T position. Picking up the hips, take them to the left edge of your mat and let the knees fall to the right. Relax the legs to the side. Dropping the left shoulder toward the floor and maybe turning the face to look over the left shoulder. Again, and come on back to center. Switching sides here, pick up the hips, take them to the right edge of your mat and allow the legs to fall left. Relax the legs deeply to the side here. Dropping the shoulders back, looking over the right hand. At the knee, make your way back to center. And gently draw the knees back into the chest again here. Rocking, shake it out. Squeezing the knees into the chest. Draw your forehead toward your knees. And And then release that, moving into a full body stretch. Use every muscle here. And then release the stretch. Allow the arms to come down by the sides. And if you're comfortable laying flat on the floor, take Shavasana here, releasing the muscles. If you prefer, the feet can come flat to the floor, or you can slide a bolster underneath your knees. Or you can make your way to a seated meditation. Allowing your mind to stay focused on the breath. And giving yourself as long as you'd like here to simply rest. Remember, you can stay here as long as you'd like. Namaste.